Yo everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Beasto and I'm joined once again with Adrian from Random Drop. How's it going, man?
It's going good. We got some shows to talk about, man.
Heck
A lot
yeah.
came out. No, I just said a lot came out.
Oh yeah, a
And
lot came out. Okay, so this is kind of like a follow-up video from the last one when we looked at the trailers and everything for spring 2024, and it's about the mid-season, and we just kind of I just wanted to come back and talk about some of the shows we watched because I couldn't watch all the shows. Adrian watched a couple of the shows, and we're just gonna like combine our thoughts and everything. And if you haven't decided, wondering if you pick up the show or not, hopefully we can help make your decision. And once again, like I said, it's still the mid-season, so there's still a couple of shows that either just came out or haven't even aired yet. So keep that in mind. If some things aren't on the list, we'll mention that we haven't got to watch them just yet or whatever. But just keep that in mind if there's some shows missing. I'm going to try and keep this in line as much as I can with the last video in the order we talk about them. But, okay, I guess the first stuff's on the list is Konosuba Season 3, Adrian. What do you have to say about it? Because you and me both watched this one.
yeah, man. One, it's been a long time coming, right? Finally, after years of going without Konosuba content, finally, and dude, every episode has been golden. Like, dude, there has not been a bad episode, and that's not something I could say about a certain other show that is Konosuba related.
The Megumin show.
I talked to you, right? And that like a couple episodes in, I was like, dude, notice how much better these episodes are compared to that. Like, just how much more you're laughing and everything about it. It's just this series does not work without the whole crew, right? And it's so blatant after watching Megumin, then coming to this, like, dude, it's just, I don't know if it's like they were written by different people or what. It's just a different thing, man. It's so good.
I don't think they were written by different people because there is the Megumin spin-off light novel is definitely a real thing. But I think it's just like capitalizing. They were trying to capitalize because Megumin is like the more liked character, right? And if it's definitely a popularity contest, then Megumin would win most of the time. Not all the time. Yeah. But yeah, the show's definitely like everything I hoped for, man. It brings back everything from season 1 and season 2 that you just like, man, I miss this show. I miss this show so much.
There's just so many, like, dude, every single episode has been so good, man. All the goofs and gags, and now like there's so many things about it, right? Now that like they're like pretty much set in this world, and just
they've a little bit more established, right? They've got a couple of
they're more established.
They got a couple of wins under their belt. They're getting some notoriety, and
they're just lazy fucks. They don't want to do anything. Or Kazuma is, at least he's just, and Aqua too is just like, we just want to live in peace, leave us alone.
Yeah, well, they got so much of the reward money from all of their bounties that just like, we don't have to take quests anymore. Like, we're kind of set.
Yeah, I'm gonna retire. Like, what, he wanted to become a monk in the first episode?
Oh,
right?
Yeah, but that was for a different reason.
That was because of the Megumin movie, right?
Yeah, he was so traumatized, man. Like, oh, I'm so glad they referenced it too. It's not just
brought it back. Yeah,
and that's the thing about movies, because sometimes movies aren't canon, and that stuff just doesn't get referenced or anything most of the time whenever there's like a movie. But I'm so glad that it is a canonical thing, and they make reference to it all the time.
When that movie came out, it felt like a series of episodes that we just didn't get, right? So like they kind of like satiated us for a bit. It was like a 5-episode arc that we would have probably seen right after Aqua's town or whatever. And yeah, it just fit right in. And then the show literally picks up right after those events, and they reference it constantly. Yeah, man, it's all good. It's the first episodes too, with like the what was it, like there was a hurt nymph or something that like eats people?
Yeah, no, yeah, it wasn't hurt. It was just kind of like, it was a monster that was luring people in.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious, man. And he comes back to check on it, and it's just talking a bunch of shit. It's so good.
It comes back with a lot of the same humor that it's super known for. Just kind of like when they're talking, when they're like monologuing or they're talking, and then they mention Kazuma, and you can just kind of like barely hear him. Like, yes, Kazuma, I'm here, yeah. There's stuff like that.
Like, shit about him. He's like right there.
Yeah, they do stuff like that, and there's a new gag that, I mean, they still add in new jokes and stuff. Just the like long pause of silence whenever they address
one is the butler stuff.
Oh yeah.
Is that what does he keep calling him?
He's like, Sebastian, I'd like my coffee, please. Like, my name is like something that I can't.
Geraldine or
Yeah,
something like that. Like it's
it's
something
like,
other name.
yes.
Thank you, Sebastian.
Mm.
And they do it in that broken English accent. Thank you, Sebastian.
In the latest episode, like, I mean, they've done this a couple of times this season. It's just the long pause.
Dude, I thought my streaming service was busted.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like, are they doing this again?
Is it buffering?
When they did it on, yeah, when they did it on Aqua, I was like, oh, that's a weird time to buffer it. And I was about to like skip forward and check it out. Then Aqua started talking. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
They do it again too when they're talking to a chef. They're talking to a chef. It's like, this bubbly is a 30-year-old vintage, isn't it? And he's like, and he speaks real quick. No, it's just the cheap stuff. It's just the cheap stuff. Long pause.
Yes.
I see.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good gag.
That's what I was referencing when it came back again. Like,
oh, okay.
The first time they do it with the Eris though, holy shit, that's like such
oh
a long
yes,
pause, dude.
Yeah.
Insane. Like actual like minute. It seemed like. Them two, they're my two favorite characters. Is Aqua and Kazuma, dude. They're so shitty. It's so great. Like they're like the same exact character, both of them at this point.
Yeah. Oh man.
I could rave about that show. We knew we were always gonna like it. There was that fear after Megumin. It was like, oh, maybe this show wasn't ever that funny, or like, right? Like maybe it's me, but no, man. After watching that, then coming to this, it's a different world, dude.
Yeah, it's so glad to have him back, man. I never thought we'd get a season 3. Who knows if we'll even get a season 4? But
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's that always has been good meme. Just skip the Megumin show.
Just get the Megumin. If y'all haven't, if no one's picked it up yet, if anyone who's been living under a rock hasn't started watching Konosuba yet, definitely you should pick it up. If you don't mind a little bit of like lewd humor.
A little bit
of lewd humor, right?
I will say it is lewd humor, but it's not pervert. Like with Darkness, yeah, like sure, like there's like boob shots. I'm trying to think of it. It's like it's so ridiculous that it's so funny.
It's because the show's a parody, man. It's because like all these isekai shows, they're like, oh, big booby like elf lady or the love interest is like it's just making fun of it, and I think that's
like now you got it.
Oh, just saying that's what makes the show like so good as well, is because like parody's always been a real solid form of entertainment, right?
Yeah, and like Kazuha is just so shitty. It's just so shitty. And it's just like, man, it's just so ridiculous. And they're so shitty too that it just like works. But like, yeah, it's funny that he steals the panties and all that with steel and those gags to keep coming back. But I'm never output by like the lewdness. Whether there are shows where I'm off put by the lewdness, it's like, it's like because it's not funny. Like Lucky Letre or whatever it's called. With,
Fire Force, yeah.
At a certain point, and Sanji, right, is another character where it just stopped being funny at a certain point. But god damn it is funny every time they do it in the show because they just find new ways of being shitty. And that's where I land on it. Usually, I'm not like I just don't find that stuff funny, or it gets tired real quick for me. But no, man.
Well, the thing is, like, Kazuma's like he doesn't go out of his way to do it. It just kind of happens. It's because he, like, in the story, like in the lore, his luck stat is like incredibly high.
Yeah.
So he just kind of finds himself in this position. So he's like, oh, nani kore? It's like he has such like I don't know, the way the actor just like portrays him too is so freaking good.
Yeah, just
his little Kazuma isms.
Yeah, it's great. I missed it so much. Best show this season so far for me.
Oh, I look forward to it every single week, man.
Every single week, dude. And it's on Wednesday when like nothing else is out. It's perfect.
Enough praising Konosuba. I think they get the idea.
Yeah, I think this already popular show weird.
Okay. So next up we had Demon Slayer, right? Kimetsu no Yaiba. So I haven't watched this yet. I don't even know if it's out yet. I think it said it was somewhere around May, so we're gonna have to skip that for now. Unless
I watched it.
Oh, you did watch it. Okay, I must have missed the release.
Yeah, no, the first hour and a half are out. So it's the usual thing where they do the first episode's an hour.
Yeah,
and it's like recappy, but plus new story kind of thing, right?
Right. I mean, you do need it.
And then like the first like real episode came out, and it's fine. Like the big reveal at the end of last season, like it's gonna change the plot significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of like the characters going around being like, man, this is a crazy thing, all right, we got to prepare.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, this shows it's already good, right? Like
Right.
I don't love like I've always never loved like the character designs really, but man, the action and the comedy and the character, like the actual characterizations of people, like I've always liked.
Mm-hmm.
um
I'd like the
but
epitomize like
yeah,
an element or something.
well, that too, right? But it's like it's just like the frumpy proportions, right? You know, they're like small. Demon Slayer has a certain look, right? Like how everyone's proportion. It like Tanjiro's this short little guy, but he's fucking ripped. But it
Oh
looks like he's like
yeah,
3 feet tall, right?
because he's probably like what, like
He's,
14 years old.
but like everyone in the show is like this. Everyone's
Yeah.
drawn in this way, where
Mm-hmm.
everyone's kind of like truncated a bit. And that's my. I mean, this is season 3. I'm still gonna watch the damn show, but
Mm-hmm.
if I'm laying my opinion out there, it's just that's the thing I've never gelled with. But the action's so good
Mm-hmm.
and music, yeah, it's just like it's super solid, right? That's kind of how I feel about it. There's not much to say about this new season, but if last season is any indication, probably can still be pretty damn good.
Right. There's still not very much to go on for this season. Like you said, it's only been
Yeah,
like the first like hour, and then maybe like the second episode, I guess.
yeah, you read the manga, right? So you know where it's
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I read
So
all the
I
manga.
don't. So
Mm-hmm,
I'm
mm-hmm.
going in blind.
Not much left. Is all I can say. Not much left of
Yeah,
this
which is
show.
exciting. It's exciting because there's certain shows on this list that like, man, I wish this was kind of over at this point.
Yeah.
But and I don't even care that like they're out anymore. But yeah, we'll get there.
Cool, cool. All right. Moving on. Mushoku Tensei. Mushoku Tensei
Speaking
2
of, no, I'm just
Part
kidding.
2.
Yeah, man, that's the first half of the season. The weird one, huh?
Yeah, it is a
So,
bit weird. But
yeah,
man, the school arc was okay. I definitely didn't mind it. We're establishing some more stuff, but damn, the newlywed stuff it's so cringe at first for me, man. I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired of it. Please move
dude, it's because
on.
you see where it's going, and it's so
Yeah.
obvious, and it's like, man, this is just a train wreck happening in front of me. It's really
Mm-hmm.
cringy to watch, but it's like, okay, sure, we're gonna do
Mm-hmm.
this. Let's do it.
But we finally
Yeah,
get
I
to see
wonder.
some more like character development and stuff. Is trying to connect more with his family.
The best episode is the one with him and his sister, dude. It's like, oh, finally,
Exactly.
dude.
Yes.
We have finally got a good episode. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rest are fine, but man, compare that first season and with Rugerd and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, man, that stuff is so good. It's incredible. And then you start the school arc, and you're like, okay, I'm fine. I get like it's that dumb thing of like, oh, just fucking talk to each other, please, for the love of God. And then they finally do, and
Yeah.
they get married and whatever.
Yeah. I think the school arc is definitely important to like establish more connections, because I'm sure like a lot of these characters are gonna hold a little bit more weight to them further down the line, right? Because like
I
even
mean, yeah.
now, like he's like preparing to go do this big thing, and he's gonna have to meet up with a lot more of some characters that we only saw for maybe like an episode or two, like a couple seasons
Way
ago.
back when.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing that this show's always been good is world building and characterization and the passage of time, and it all works, right? Hey, this is just like the downtime period for his life, but you're like seeing how he's like maturing and going through it,
Mm-hmm.
and like when you see a character, they're probably gonna matter at some point again, or they'll bring them back up. They're usually not gonna forget about them, right? Or they have some sort of significance in
Mm-hmm.
some way to like the overall journey. Like again, the world building this show's always been really good, and I'm just finally glad that we're gonna, we're maybe stepping out of the school finally, getting back to the. Man, I want more action scenes. I want them to like travel the world and they see crazy shit.
Yeah. It looks like it's about to like get to that part again.
Yeah.
Yeah, his downtime's about to be over. Looks like there's gonna be more action. I didn't mind the downtime. It's just, man, the newlyweds thing when they're just like being all lovey dovey. Just like, I get, yes, I get it, I
Dude,
get
the
it,
manga's
man.
way worse, dude.
Oh, we
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
need that
watch, like,
much of it.
They did. I didn't know I had to sit through some ear nibbles and shit like that. I was like, oh,
Uh,
come on. I was like, okay, I get it. You
yeah,
like her.
yeah.
Awesome.
Don't worry, he'll turn out to be just like his dad.
He already is, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's already over.
Yeah, definitely. Mushoku Tensei still one of my favorite isekais. Just the newlyweds part is what gets me. Which is like, I'm just over it.
It's either you love that type of stuff or you don't, right?
Yeah. So the next one, get this out of the way. Got this stuff in my way. Okay. So I watched one episode of the show of this season, and I got so bored, and I haven't picked it up since then. And I'm talking about the third season of Reincarnated as a Slime. But you're watching it,
Yeah.
right? You kept watching it.
Dude, I think it's been like 8 episodes of Meeting Rooms.
Oh,
Like
great.
straight out, dude. It's like it's literally multiple scenes of people sitting in boardrooms talking about their plans and like machinations and scheme. And it looks like next episode things are finally gonna pop off. But it's like, dude, it better be worth it because we've been sitting through a lot of bullshit for a while now. I don't appreciate the intrigue. It's just like this world isn't that deep. It's not Mishuko Tensei like world building and politics and like that stuff that happening in the background. Because Rimu always gets his fucking way because he's so overpowered and like whatever, right?
There's no actual friction to it, right?
Yeah, there's no one gonna get one in on over for him and on him, and it seems like maybe finally there's gonna be like a thing, but probably gonna last an episode, right? Like it's paced very badly. Like it could end up being great, like with what happens or whatnot by the end, because we're finally at the point of like, oh, finally things are moving along, but it's like. Yeah, dude, it's literally been half a season of just them in boardroom meetings.
When you say like you brought up the pacing, and that reminds me, like in the last couple of seasons, I always remembered like when I'd watch an episode, it seemed like so long. Like an episode just seemed so long, and not a lot really happened. I always felt that way. It's like, man, that was kind of a long episode. I mean, it always feels like a long episode. Does it still have that same kind of feel?
It just depends how interested you're in the board meetings, which I do pay attention, I do care, but it's like everyone has the perfect answer for Rimu. Everyone's always can solve every problem he has because they're all just so good at what they do, right? But yeah, like I'm not again, not it's like stuff that just like we didn't really need to like. They didn't need to they didn't need to have a discussion about like how they're implementing these discs so that on the roads it keeps monsters away because of the mana dispersion. It's like, dude, I don't fucking care. Right? Like, and it's stuff like that, right? It's just like the show's trying to be smart when it's really should just be simpler. And that's kind of what the show was in the first season, right? It was pretty simple what was happening, but now it's trying to get political, and that's where it's just like, okay.
That's where I always have a hard time with shows too. Like an Attack on Titan. Once it gets to like all the real political stuff, I kind of lose interest.
Which I do like that type of stuff, but it's just the show is just not good at it, right? It's just not its strength. Its strength is like lovable characters and like seeing all the different shenanigans they get up to. But yeah, it's kind of this feeling of like since season 2, right? So he just kind of gets his way no matter what. There's no, again, my problem with Overlord is there's no real friction. I'm kind of bored of it.
Yeah. Well, all right. So the next one. Kaiju, Adrian. Kaiju at number 8. We both watched this show, and I've enjoyed what I've seen of it, but it feels like there's not very much happening as well. Not just yet.
Not just yet, no. But it's the start of a series, right? But I'm intrigued already. Like it grabbed my attention. I'm trying. It's like a vibe thing very much. Like I want to see what happens to Kafka and like the mystery of it, where does his powers come from and all that, and them trying to keep it a secret, and then he brings in some people in the know, but it's not doing anything crazy. It's just kind of like surprisingly solid. I was not expecting anything out of this show, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, really. And it's like, oh yeah, I look forward to watching this every week.
It feels like it's in a lull at the moment because people were hyping it up a lot, and then now it's kind of like people are very quiet about it at the moment. And it could be just because, like we said, that just not a whole lot's going on. It's still trying to establish.
It hasn't had its scene, right? It hasn't had that that scene that you could clip and be like, this fucking show, look at this crazy thing that happened. Or it, like every show has that moment, right? Of like it just sells, this is the scene that sold you on it, right? It just hasn't had that yet.
Well, because
like a lot of interesting stuff, but yeah, it doesn't have that moment yet.
He hasn't quite met his match yet. Anything that can like compare to him. He just kind of one shots a lot of the stuff that's coming around at the moment.
I mean, he's had 2 fights and he swung twice, right? Like it's not really about the kaiju part yet. It's meeting all these characters and all that stuff, and the training arc, right? Of like, oh, they're barely joining this force or whatever. So you're meeting we're still literally meeting all the characters. And then finally, I think last episode's like, okay, we're finally at the part where they're going to meet the first problematic thing that they have to face, right? But yeah, I mean, it's just super solid. Like, I enjoy the animation, and I like the characters. I like the world so far they're trying to sell. It's just really solid. It was probably hyped up because like no one thought anything of it before it came out. Then people saw the first couple episodes and were like, hey, this is like worth giving a shot. And I definitely think so.
One of the selling points for me is Kafka's not like your average like main character, especially for these I wouldn't call it shonen, but it has like the formula for a
Yeah.
shonen.
There's a 32-year-old dude.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
32-year-old dude, man. And
He's a
like
32-year-old
he's
burnout. Yeah.
yeah, and he's like kind of like giving up on his dreams, getting like oh, I got one last shot, right? And he's out with the
Mm-hmm.
youngins. He's out with these like prodigy just like right out of the academy
Yeah.
young adults. What he doesn't bring like in potential and stuff, because he's got knowledge, right? He's a little bit
He's
wise
got
because of
insane
his
knowledge.
job, because he's still been kind of like in the industry of dealing with the kaijus, the cleanup, so he has
Mm-hmm.
like a good understanding of the anatomy and stuff. That's what
Yeah.
it gets brought up a lot. He's like, I might not be like as strong or fast or can keep up with these young guys, but man, I have enough work experience to know like
Yeah,
what
it's
I
like
need to be
actual
doing.
experience
Mm-hmm.
to like know what he's been doing. Yeah, definitely.
And that kind of just
Um,
sorry, I had to cough there for a second. It kind of just shows and like gives people, it's like, hey, maybe like you do have something to offer, right?
yeah, not all your time was wasted.
Mm-hmm,
Usually,
mm-hmm.
right? There's something you gained out of. You gain experience from doing like experience matters, right? Like actually doing a thing and learning over time. And yeah, I mean, when you get older, you accrue a lot of shit. Either like work experience or just
Mm-hmm.
life experience, and
You,
these little youngins don't know nothing, right?
you can still bring
Right.
something to the table, man.
But yeah,
Like,
Kafka's a good character. Like
mhm.
and he's just so fucking. He's like the wacky uncle, right?
Yeah.
He's like 30, but he acts like he's fucking 20 or 18.
Yeah, all the other characters call him old man too. They're like, old man. He's like, oh,
Yeah,
old man, me? You talking about me?
I'm
He's like,
30,
yeah.
motherfucker.
He's
Like,
like,
what are you
they're like,
talking
yeah,
about?
that's old. He's just like, ugh.
These fucking kids, little
These damn
shits.
kids.
We're gonna be here in 5 minutes then.
But yeah, Kaiju 8, it's definitely not something to sleep on just yet. It may be a little slow, but I'm sure it'll have its moment anytime now. It'll have, like you
Yeah,
said, the clippable moment.
yeah. That moment's like, man, this is what sells the show. It's just a super solid start, and it's worth giving a shot. Especially if you're like bored of everything else, right? It's also like different, not an
Mhm.
isekai. It's not a superhero show. It's not like these dudes powering up and doing right. It's like it's just like it's literally soldiers with guns, power level stuff in the show, right? Like they do their own weird thing with it, of like with their battle suits and all that. But
Right.
it's still very much a shonen because
Mhm.
there's a number and you can see the number go up.
And yeah, you see that a lot
Mm,
in like I said, in the shonen formula where like everyone has
mhm,
their specialization, right? It's like, oh, like she's good at taking out the big things, right? But
yeah,
I'm better at taking out like the smaller, like a big horde of them, stuff like that.
yeah.
I'm the sniper. There's always those kind of tropes.
But they're not running around calling out their special moves or anything like that,
No,
right?
no, no,
Like they're
no,
not doing anything like that.
no, no. Of course,
So it's definitely different in the space as
Kafka
well.
seems like the guy he would do that though. I'm
Yeah,
just
I mean,
saying.
I'm sure at some point he's gonna transform and call out a special move, and it'll be hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he'll be like, I've always wanted to do that. Yeah, for sure. Don't sleep on Kaiju 8. Okay, next on my list. There's only been 2 episodes, and I'm gonna say I'm talking about My Hero, the 7th season right now, and I think the first 2 episodes were pretty solid given the last couple seasons we've had. Last season towards the end, some of those fights were badass, really good, but the whole emo phase, his whole vigilante phase from Deku,
Dude,
it's so
oh my god, so fucking
why?
cringe. And
Yeah,
it literally lasts like 2 episodes. It's like
yeah.
if you're gonna do someone have a dark phase, like at least like do something with it.
His broody,
Not
yeah.
just yeah, not just like this. It's I always reference this episode in Blue Exorcist,
The
where
birthday
like it's like
episode.
yeah, it's like this really like dark. The show about
It's
angels and the devil,
yeah,
right?
it's
And
supposed to
Satan.
be dark.
And this like, birthday cake for everyone. It's like I fucking don't care, man. It's just like I get they're supposed to be friends and like, but there's ways to do friendship and it like getting you through hard times, and do it well and like selling it right. And this
Mm-hmm.
show just doesn't sell it right. It seems so like it just seems so forced with all these. It's probably because there's just too many characters, right? Because it's like a whole school and all that, and they're like, oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
all best friends.
Mm-hmm. We'll
I
do
don't know,
this
but that
together.
didn't tell me. But that episode where Bakugo and Deku are fighting each other and they're like screaming at each other,
Mm-hmm.
and Bakugo's letting him know like this is why I feel this way. This is so fucking good. It's like one of the best episodes out there.
Mm-hmm.
And just nothing like that in the show, right? There's nothing that makes me feel that way. The fights have been really whenever Shigaraki gets last season got his powers and was like wrecking everyone, that was cool because it's like awesome. Okay, there's like a threat. There's the plot's moving forward, right?
He's still in like in the early stages of his transformation, so he's not even at his peak just yet.
Yeah, he's like this busted already, so it's like yeah. But yeah, I haven't watched these episodes. I read the manga on these couple
Oh,
episodes.
okay. So you won't be lost if I start mentioning stuff.
No, I won't be.
Yeah. So the first 2 episodes is just him like fighting. It's Shigaraki versus Star and Stripe, right? Or Stars and Stripe. Yeah. That whole fight is badass. That is she has or Star and Stripes is so busted. Yeah. So crazy.
Was she gonna make a wish, right? And manifest it?
The way it was explained in the anime is that she gives it's very similar to like a power that I seen in like the Index series, the Reldex series. And it's kind of like
here we go.
Yeah, I know. But the way to explain it is that she picks 2 objects and she places a rule on them. And it's most of the time one of the objects is herself. So it makes it to where like she can hold a laser. Like laser is like holdable to me, and she can hold the laser, or she can make it to where the wind, like the air is dense and can hit things. Yeah, she can like manifest things. It's like in the Reldex term, it's like she gives precedence to something, right? Something holds higher precedence over the other.
Yeah, she's making like rule, like if and or rule 2.
New order. Something. The name of her power. Yeah, her quirk. I hate saying that.
Quirk.
Quirk. Yeah. It's really cool fight. Cool it is a very cool power. I have to say, she's super busted.
I do like the resolution of that fight too, because obviously this character can't. You can't have this character walking around.
Yeah.
Another All Might.
Yeah, it's just for sure.
The problem solver's walking around weird.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Most of the time,
so clearly,
when something that busted gets introduced, they don't know the writers. I mean, I don't know if he did this on purpose, but most of the time when there's a power that is too strong and the writer doesn't know what to do with it, they just write the character off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure that it was just a way of being like, Shigaraki is such a world-ending like powerhouse.
Yeah.
Everyone has to get involved. Okay, let's just make the scene where America sends their strongest person, who is literally just probably strong, or if not as strong as All Might, right? Because everything in My Hero is number 1 hero in Japan. So like we've never seen all the number 1 other heroes, right? So it's like just like this, I think, just narrative way of being like, okay, America, right? We're seen as like very like
a superpower, right?
Power. Yeah. So like, okay, it'd like be us in Russia would be like the 2 heroes you would probably want to see, because
China,
they'd probably be busted in some way. Yeah. It's just a way of being like, okay, hey, Shigaraki, literally the person who if they just showed up 2 weeks ago, everything would have been fine. But now that she's here, coming in a little late, Shigaraki's like too far gone at this point, right? I do like the resolution though of that thing where she puts a rule on her power getting stolen, to where it'll like fuck him up for stealing it.
Oh yeah.
Did they get to that part in the show?
Yeah. They did. No.
Okay.
The first 2 episodes was their fight, and then
the whole fight. Okay.
And then everyone kind of hearing that how the fight resolved.
But it's also a way of depowering Shigaraki and like giving everyone else more time to like get ready. Because he like nerfs them for a bit. Yeah,
they're gonna do a little preparing too. It's kind of like in Demon Slayer, where like they have an idea what the main villain's next move's gonna be, and so they like get ready for it.
So this, I think I read a little bit further, but then I stopped at a certain point. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll keep watching. I'm just not excited to start it up. And that's kind of like when I was mentioning it, right? Just like nothing. I'm sure that fight's really cool. I don't care about anyone in the show, man. I don't like any of the characters anymore.
Yeah, I don't care about Deku.
Probably
Deku
my favorite
anymore.
character. But like, man, Deku, fucking, I do not care about Deku.
Yeah, I like Deku for maybe the first 3 seasons, and they kind of like that, and I'm just like,
I do. Yeah, I love Deku, and he was just so smart because he was so limited. And so he had to just think outside of the box with a lot of this shit.
Yeah, he had to be very resourceful.
And now he's just a powerhouse, right? Now he's just like, oh, he just punches things. Like, I miss that old Deku of like him, being resourceful. It was when they started introducing like, oh, now I have 8 powers. Like, I really don't care. Why are we doing this?
Because he's an MC in a shonen manga.
Yeah, but you know who was Joseph Joestar, and he had one fucking power
He's a
to
man of a
fucking lie.
different time.
He lied to people and tricked them, and that's how he won fights.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
power creep,
great.
man. Power creep.
So I like JoJo. So it doesn't matter what the power is. If you got a
Mhm,
whack ass power, it will change a fight.
mhm, mhm.
So Hunter x Hunter is really good about it too, where it's like not really power levels. It's the type of power they have.
Oh yeah, because
It
there's counters.
completely changes the fight. Yeah, there's complete counters. And yeah, there's just nothing. There's nothing about My Hero that makes me go like, "Oh, that was smart."
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, just like
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
think of that.
Now he just got really emotional, punched the guy real hard. Okay,
Hmm.
but Deku used to be that way, where like he was like breaking his fucking fingers and shit and all that. Right? It's a different show now.
Hmm. All right. To the next one. We're gonna I haven't watched any of Windbreakers yet.
All right, next.
You haven't either? Okay. Again,
No.
if y'all think some of these shows like there'll definitely be a couple of shows that we haven't seen. So if any of y'all think we should definitely pick it up, or you think we're wrong or whatever, just let us know in the comments. I'll be happy to read them. Definitely would give the show a shot if recommended. So okay, moving on. We're gonna talk about Spice and Wolf, or I'm gonna talk about Spice and Wolf because I know you. Yeah,
You're gonna talk about Spice
I'm
and
gonna
Wolf.
talk about Spice and Wolf. Yeah, which was a
Is
good
the lady
refresher.
with the hentai, right?
What? What?
What?
What?
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Like
Anyway,
Fox Girl, right? It's mostly. That's all I
there's a
know
lot of
about
there's.
her.
She's a wolf, sir.
Yeah, she's a wolf.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's a
go
wolf.
ahead.
But I watched Spice and Wolf a long time ago, and it's still very like a foggy memory for me because I watched it a long time ago. But this is a good refresher for me because like even I can't remember what's gonna happen next. Vague, just like very vague little details enter my mind. Why? Like what is like you had asked me like in the trailer watching episode we did that like what's the friction, what's the big deal,
What's
and
the
it's like
actual
yeah, what's the
story?
problem?
Yeah.
And he's like what's the threat, and it's like oh, she's a pagan god, and people are not cool with that.
Like,
Yeah. As I said before, she's the god of harvest, and she's traveling around with a merchant because she wants to go home to where she's originally from. She ended up in this village where they started worshiping her as the god of harvest, and as Christianity has expanded more, people aren't in the beliefs of these pagan gods anymore. So she's like, I want to go home, I want you to take me home, and they're like, okay, hop in. So
cool.
it's about her traveling with this merchant, and they kind of learn from each other a little bit. Some of the some of the stuff definitely went over my head when I watched it the first time about all the different kinds of currencies and all the different scams and stuff these merchants and stuff have to deal with, and how they have to upsell all these things. There was literally an episode where he gave her like what was it? Kind of like an allowance. Like she did something good, and he's like, "Okay, here's some money. You earned this money." And she's like, "All right." And she bought a bunch of apples, and all they have is this cart. They're living out of this cart, and he's trying to sell these animal pelts. And she puts all the apples on the animal pelts, and when he goes to sell them, the guy's like lowballing him, right? It's all about this, just the ways of the trade. And he's like, I want 200 gold for this, and he's like, I can't do this. And she's like, hold on. And he's like, these aren't your average pelts. And she grabs one and gets him to smell it. He's like, these animals ate so well in this land that they're from that their pelt smells like apples because all the apples were on top of them. So they literally scammed this dude into buying all these pelts for like an extra 100 gold and stuff. And you're like, see? So it's pretty cool. They're getting to like know each other and actually becoming friends, and it's just like a heartwarming scene. Just so wholesome seeing them get together.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds it's very definitely more grounded than it. I knew nothing though, right?
Yeah.
I had seen like Blu-ray cover box arts and like manga covers, and I was like, oh, it's a weird show about Fox Girl. I'm sure. Yeah, I always thought it was like maybe like a romance novel or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it there's definitely like some hints of them, But yeah, it's just so cool because he knows the way of the trade, and she's kind of really sly. So they make a pretty good team when they're just like going through town and just doing their merchant stuff. And it talks about man, what is this thing called? It's where you get a coin and you kind of shave off a little bit off a coin, and you do that to a bunch of coins, and then you melt them down and make more coins out of like
out
of the shavings, stuff like that, and kind of make inflation and stuff like that happening.
Yeah, definitely a lot of medieval. What is it like? Medieval times.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of mercantile because they're moving by cart and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's all about the
Yeah.
journey, man. You get to learn a couple of things. Definitely not bad. I like younger me, definitely, like I said, a lot of this stuff went over my head, but
I imagine, yeah.
it's definitely really cool to see.
Well, but where's the fox lady?
Yeah.
Yes, I just imagine little Bryce
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah. And how cutthroat all these like companies are, like the trading companies are so cutthroat, man. They do not give a shit. All they care about is the money.
Yep.
Because
True to life.
Yeah, there's definitely moments where like something happens, right? I don't want to give away too much. Something happens, we're like, yo, we need your help. He's like, why would we help you? I mean, we're getting our money either way, you know. And they kind of like have to like weasel their way into like getting them to help, stuff like that. It's crazy. Definitely have to have a silver tongue when you're dealing with these merchants. Yeah, it's a good show. I like it. The remake, Hollow, is very cute.
Oh, the Hollow is very cute. The show,
and
that's why they remade it. No
good. I'm so glad. Please. Misfit Demon Academy Part 2. We didn't watch that because we didn't watch the first season. But now, for those of y'all who don't know, me and Adrian do a react to this show over on his channel, on his Random Bro channel. We watch these episodes. You get to see our reaction. And so far, I wouldn't be going out on a limb saying that we both really enjoy the show. I'm talking about Go Loser Ranger.
Yeah, so far it's like fine, right? It's just again, it's one of these where it's just starting, and it seems like it has like funny moments, and it has a good art style and whatnot, and it has like good vibes of like I see what they're trying to do with the show. I'm interested in what's gonna happen.
There's definitely intrigue.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a very different show. It's like I don't usually watch stuff like this at all. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at with it, really. Like I think we're 2 episodes behind now. Is that true? Because there was like a week where
there was a week that some kind of golf thing was happening, and they literally posted on the news and stuff. They're just like, hey, there will be no Go Loser Ranger this episode because of golf coverage. I'm just like, well, damn, I see where their priorities align.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and you definitely had a idea of what to expect. We had an idea of how the show was going to go when we like went into it, and for me at least, it's definitely like gone in a different direction than I had thought.
Definitely, me too. And especially the last episode we saw, it was very much setting up. It set up the thing, right? Of like they did the switcheroo in the heist movie. Like, oh, this is the thing they can use to
play. Yeah, cue up
the thing they want to do.
Cue up that like that old switcheroo music, you know, the dun na na na. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot smarter than he comes off. What's his name?
Definitely.
Fighter D.
D. Oh man, F for Fighter F, man. Fuck.
F for Fighter F.
F's in chat for Fighter F. But yeah, I mean, I'm just more interested. It's one of the shows that's gonna be either totally fine and we'll be like, oh, that was a neat watch. Like it looked cool. Like the art style, or it's gonna like really get out there and blow our minds. I'm hoping for the latter, obviously, because yeah, I want some twists and turns, right? I want some good intrigue and like it all set up in this. There's so much we don't know about this world and show still, and yeah, I mean, I'm interested in watching more of it, but it's not the usual, right? Like, there's so many of these shows that are very similar when you go down these lists, and this is one that stands out. And that's why we like watched it and reacted to it in general.
I still got a lot of questions that need to be answered. Like all these people that are helping him and stuff. Like what's in it for them? Why are they like trying to aid him? Right. Especially like the chick and the dude.
Oh, especially that episode was so good too. The one with like the parents and the church and stuff.
Oh, for like the red haired dude.
Yeah. And they were like praising one of the bosses, right? And they finally came down. They're like getting raptured and all the parents died, but the sister saved them. The episode's so good, dude. So again, there's a lot that we do not know about this show still.
Because now it makes you think, like, who exactly is the bad guy? Because when it does show the episode, and you do get to see one of like the Dusters, like former bosses, like, man, yeah, they were kind of bad. Yeah. They were bad.
Yeah, exactly.
And then now that you're having to deal with the Dragon Keepers, and they're kind of just being dicks. Like, who is? Like,
there was that weird little dragon that showed up for a sec, and it was like,
oh yeah,
the keepers.
The little mascot.
All the weapons are like weird bone weapons. And it's like, okay, that doesn't. When you think of Power Ranger, right? Like, you don't think they're using a bone sword, right? It's not the weapon you would think.
No,
so
they're definitely not toy-like, because all of the Sentai weapons look very toy-like because they want to sell toys. This isn't the case for them.
Yeah, no, totally. I want to watch more. We definitely need to get to that. I react to the 5 and 6.
Yeah, for sure. If y'all want to see our reactions to it, over there on the Random Drop channel.
Yeah, youtube.com/randomdrop.
Okay. To the next one. I have not watched How to Love Your Elf Bride. If you remember that. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't watched that yet. Again, in the comments, you think it's something that we should pick up.
Yeah, we're going to be saying that a lot in these next couple.
Man, and this, okay, so this next one, I watched the first episode. I mean, I kind of had like high hopes for it when we saw it in the trailer, but I don't know, dude. I don't know how I feel about it. The first episode was still a little strange for me, and I'm talking about I was reincarnated as the seventh prince. Yeah.
It's our love for Azazel. We saw a thing that looked like it was from Azazel, and we thought about giving it a chance, but it sounds like you didn't really enjoy the first episode.
No, I mean, it's a little strange for me. His little outfit. I'm just like, I don't know about this. I don't think this is the show for me.
If this is strange for you, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just like, damn. But it does follow the trope. He's like, he's just very good. He's reincarnated, so of course he's busted already with some context of the world, and
he has a harem already at age 5.
Yeah. All of his teachers are like really hardcore women who are like, oh, the sword master or good at this, right? So he's already going to be super overpowered. But yeah,
what's the next thing we've watched?
The next thing we watched, oh boy, I like this show.
Yeah,
Jisun Basan. Yep, Grandpa and Grandma turn young
again. Is that
again.
really what Jisun Basan? Isn't that just Grandpa?
Yeah, Grandpa and Grandma turn young again. I didn't know how I was going to feel about this show. I thought it was going to be funny. I was like, yeah, I mean, and yeah, there's definitely some funny points to it. But yeah, the first episode, it was funny. And then it had one moment. It had one weird moment that was like I don't know. And it's kind of like,
oh, isn't it?
It's the part where
like, oh, Grandpa's hot. It's like,
yeah, whoa, Grandpa's hot, and they're like, no, you can't. Even in fiction, that's like looked down upon. Just like, whoa, okay, this isn't where I thought this was gonna go. They're thirsting after Grandpa, and I was like, okay, but I kept watching it.
Have you seen the fucking meme, oh my god, what was that show? Isekai show, very popular. Jinwoo, the character's name is Jinwoo. You know what show I'm talking about. It has a dagger. He runs around blue jacket.
Oh.
He goes in a dungeon.
Oh, Solo Leveling.
Solo Leveling, oh my god.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme with him and the sister?
I mean, I've seen like the little abridged like voiceover thing that people have done with it.
It's pretty funny.
You can solo my dungeon.
the Sweet Alabama thing.
Yeah.
Props to that show. When Jinwoo comes hot, it doesn't even phase her. She doesn't even like, unless I missed it, there was nothing in the show where she was like, oh, blushies or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
Jinwoo, you're like more fit. Weird.
He's like, yeah. She's like, oh, you look different. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you look good. Yeah.
Oh, like, thanks.
Oh. They didn't make it weird in any way. Jinwoo's just like, yeah, that's my sister. What are you?
Yeah. It was low hanging fruit, and they left it be. Good on them.
I'm very much props for that. I don't know. Maybe it fucking goes wild later.
Oh, who knows?
But I'm very, because usually with these shows, every time they have a little sister, it always gets fucking weird, man. They were weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like actual little sister. Now they don't, man, because Jinwoo gets really hot, and it doesn't even fucking phase her. She's just like, nah, you're just like still the same dork bag. Yeah, okay, great, that's awesome. That's a quick snippet because I thought about it the other day.
Oh yeah.
Because watching that clip or whatever was like, oh yeah, they don't even, it doesn't even
mention it. Yeah,
but,
she's like at the level is like, something seems different about you. Did you cut your hair?
Yeah, so like, what? He's a different person.
Yeah, he's a totally different person.
Yeah, definitely.
Even the nurses, dude, when he's like in the process of like changing, they're like, whoa, he like changed. It's like super hot now.
See that fucking guy there? Yeah. Oh yeah, like she hands it, and even he's an idiot, right? Because like she hands her his number, one of the nurses.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe like they need to check up on me every now and then.
Yeah. Oh, she's very she's very hardworking. She really likes her job.
Yeah. Like, god damn it.
God damn it.
But yeah,
I don't hate that about those characters. The freaking oblivious and
I guess we'll get to because it's kind of the opposite in Remonster, right? Where like he knows and he's like, all right,
okay,
takes advantage of it.
Well, I want to talk about Grandma and Grandpa for a little bit.
Yeah,
but I was just saying that one part was a little weird, but overall, I think the show is very wholesome and it brings up a lot of topics that you know, maybe sometimes it kind of goes over people's head because the whole thing was like they didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together. They were both very busy and poor in their younger years, and now they're all
Yeah,
old and they're still working. But now they have like a second chance for their romance and stuff.
they actually like get to spend time
Mm-hmm.
with each other.
Exactly. And there's also a thing about like the existential like of life. I don't know how to put it. I'm dumb.
Not existential dread. I don't think that's might
It's
be
just
right.
like like
But
death is
no,
close, right?
yeah, like yeah, they know they're gonna die. So time is running out.
Time is running out for sure. It is a supernatural thing. Otherwise, the show is very well grounded. Like that's the only just like weird thing about it is like, oh, they're young again, and they kind of like they're just like, huh, that is strange, and then they kind of just keep on going.
Yeah,
But they're able
it's
to
like,
be
I ain't gonna try to fix this.
yeah, but they're able to be a little bit more a part of their family and stuff, like their grandkids and their like little love lives that they're having, and they kind of help them out, revisit like old friends and reminisce about all the stuff that's happened. Like oh, like when they see some of their older friends and they see how like they look now, and they're like, oh, this reminds me of the time, like you know, stuff like that.
Okay.
Back in that era when they first like fell in love, it was so much different, like arranged marriages and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, we didn't do that. We fell in love with each other, and I had to fight my dad so I could go be with her. Yeah, it's cool. It's a nice little like wholesome show. It's a really good. It's a really good romance. Yeah, it's a very good romance show. Just get past that one part, that one little scene, and you're totally fine.
Like at least the other characters were like, "What the fuck? Get out of here!"
And they bring other like little conflicts to it. Like sometimes whatever's going on like malfunctions, and like Grandpa will be old again, but Grandma will still be young, and they're like, "Oh,
really?
Yeah," and they'll be like,
"That's actually funny."
Yeah, he's like, Grandma wouldn't want to be with me. I'm just an old guy. And she's like, I didn't fall in love with you because you were like hot or anything or old. I like fell in love with you because you were you and stuff like that. There's also like an episode. Yeah.
And the Grandpa's like, I did.
There's like a whole. Yeah. Like they're like, oh, we booked this public onsen for y'all, and Grandpa's like, yes. But there's also like an episode to where the whatever's causing them to de-age got Grandma back too far to where she didn't even know who Grandpa was, and he's kind of like trying to make her fall in love with her again, stuff like that. Also, Grandma's dying because she has cancer, and apparently this thing is like kind of stopping it for now because one of her sons is a doctor, and he's like trying to study up everything.
Yeah, he's figuring out what the hell's happening.
Yeah, there's definitely that impending death. He's like, man, they don't have much longer, and they need to like live out the rest of their days like the best they can.
Yeah, sounds wholesome.
Yeah, definitely check it out, guys. It's a good romance show. All right, I didn't watch the show, and I'm pretty sure you're ready to talk about it. It's Remonster.
All the charm about the slime show. Yeah, it doesn't have it.
No, I read one manga. I read one chapter of Remonster, and I was just like, I don't know about this, and then I just never picked it back up.
It starts off really. I don't know what the show wants to be because it's like very humorous in parts. Parts it like tries to be dark and gritty, right? Especially the beginning with like the goblin things. Like why? Because there's female so goblins. It's Goblin Slayer rules.
Okay, yeah.
What happens in the show, right?
Right. That's what I picked up from reading the first chapter.
But in Goblin Slayer, there's no female goblins. Well, there are in this world.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, sure. They're still like humanoid, so yeah, they can be rapey still, but they still make it like the main way of reproduction, I guess, for goblins. Which I guess is just a plot device so that the character can be like, I'm such a good person, I hate rape, right? That like he like shuts that shit down and all that. And it's like, but it's like ham-fisted as fuck, right? So like it just makes you not care. I think he gives them a poison so that they can kill themselves so they can get out of the situation because he can like really save them. But the first batch of girls basically just all kill themselves. But it's beside the point. It's not like I'm like prude or anything, but I don't know, man. It's just like the whole gimmick is that he eats things and gains their power. There is one nice little twist or interesting twist is that in his prior life, he was a monster anyways. He was like some vampire dude anyways.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he was already, when he gets to this world, he's like, oh, I kept my power of eating people and gaining their powers. Weird. So really, like, it's just that he's in a fantasy world now and gaining all these other crazy powers. But there's a lot of similarities of the slime show. Like he has that literal text in his head popping up telling him things
Oh,
when he gets
really?
powers, and like none of the characters are like likable in any way. And and there's like a crew of girls that he has a harem with immediately, which is funny. It's funny to like finally see it of like
Are they
all these
cool?
girls want to all these girls want to bang them, and he bangs them.
Oh, I mean, I guess yeah, it's better than the
But it's
former, right?
I get. Well, it's nice to like. Well, when it actually happens, it's like really cringe and weird. But it's like, hey, okay, a show finally did it. They didn't beat around the bush. Sure,
Hmm.
he's the top dog, right? He's very much playing it off like, oh, I'm a monster. I'm the alpha male. So of
Hmm.
all the women, right?
Hmm.
But I'm still a good dude, and like, what? I don't know. I'm like really
They,
rambling here.
yeah,
I just really don't like the vibe of the show. It's just kind of like fine.
I've definitely seen
It's
some
not
meme pictures for Remonster and stuff.
Yeah, it's just nothing what I would recommend, right? Beside all the stuff of like the hangups I have with it, there's just like literally nothing interesting about it, right?
Hmm. So you
It's just another isekai.
so you think it's just a like a if you like compared it to the slime show, right? You say it's more boring because dang,
Less wholesome slime
less
show.
wholesome slime. Gotcha.
I'm trying to think what sold me on the slime show, and it was like meeting the goblins for the first time, and it's
It's a
because
community
it's a
thing.
fun show, right? You meet the
Hmm.
Onis, but that show's intended to be like fun, and this show feels like a 13-year-old edgy
Fan
show,
fiction.
right? Yeah, but then when you have a 13-year-old write it, right, it is the oh, I'm gonna bang every girl, and I'm so powerful, I have all the powers.
Hmm.
I'm Balrog, I have all the
It's
powers.
a power fantasy.
I'm really ripped, and yeah, it's like full on, dude, all the way, no holds barred power fan. But then you're gonna have insinuation, not even insinuation, outright rape in the show and all that stuff. And it's just tonally, it's like just like all over the fucking.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's just 5, 6 episodes. It's like yeah, it was like fine, but there's nothing like pulling me in. I like
Yeah.
don't care about anyone in the show at all. So
Do they use it
uh,
as just like a world building kind of thing? Because like in Goblin Slayer, at least they make it to where it's like these are a threat. Goblins are bad. Like you should
yeah, but
hate goblins.
Goblin Death Slayer does it in a weird way where it's the constant pig, right? Where like Goblin Slayer's a bit gross about it too. You don't see it anymore, right? In Goblin Slayer because they had that
No.
really really awful scene at the beginning, right? Where
Hmm.
it's like, fuck, dude, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
The
And they
manga
never
still
really
has
get
some
that
really
far
bad.
again.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, it's because they skipped like there's like a big arc that
Mm.
happens. It's like Goblin Slayer's farm gets invaded, and they all have to have like an all-out war with the goblins. Like everyone from the guild has to fight the goblins, and the
Yeah, that
goblins
happened
are
in the show.
using. Did it?
Yeah,
I
and
thought
they used the girls as like
shields, meat shields.
barricade shields. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, goblins fucking suck. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not that scene where you're literally watching the goblin bend over a girl and shit. Like literally the first episode, right? Like nothing really.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of insinuations, and that character is
Mm-hmm.
like afraid of goblins because of what happened to her. Even though she's like a powerhouse, can't fight goblins because she has this like PTSD, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
That's a whole other subject. But not that I like Goblin Slayer.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like they don't
Um,
use it in the same way.
yeah, definitely not. And it's just like because it's so constantly present in Goblin Slayer that it's like okay, it's like part of the show.
You don't
And
want
this
to
one,
get
it's
caught by
like
the goblins. No.
yeah, it's like it's a constant fear of like, dude, save the girls, like get them out of here,
Yeah.
all that shit, right? There's like an actual real fear when you're. I mean, they're always doing it, but they're always attacking the girls and ripping their clothes off immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
Goblin Slayer's not perfect at all. It's like it has a lot of rough edges, but it's like it's a fine show. The Rain Monster, like it's very much at the very beginning, and it's very much like it's used as like a world building thing.
But it's not like a
But kind
shock
of
factor because I feel people was like, oh, Goblin Slayer just uses it as shock factor.
I feel like this is like where you use it as a shock factor to like set up like how edgy and cool this character is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or like how, or like I think it's supposed to set up that because he was a monster in the previous world, he's like a vampire guy. Like this character's not exactly like a good dude,
He doesn't have like
but he
human
doesn't like
morals.
rape.
Yeah.
But he doesn't, yeah, he doesn't actually have because he like outright eats people and kills them
Mm-hmm.
and captures the groups of people and like eats their commander. And he was like, hey, all of y'all fight and the strongest y'all will get to stay. The rest he like literally eats and gains their powers, right? It doesn't show it, but that's like inferred what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like not a good dude. He is a monster. But yeah, that one-off thing is just kind of used as like a I'm bad, but I'm not that bad.
Mm-hmm. I have
Right.
standards.
Ultimately, yeah. I just don't know how I feel about the show. Is like where I land on it. I don't really like it. But I don't hate it either. It's just kind of like I feel like I've done this before at this point in a lot of ways.
Gotcha.
And again, it feels like a 13-year-old's edgy. Like this
Power
is what
fantasy.
what they would write.
We'll wrap it up for Reed Monster right there.
Yeah, if I'm bored enough, I'll watch more of it. But
Okay.
lately, there's been other stuff.
All right. We haven't watched Unnamed Memory. That was about the dude's wives always died, and so he's like, because he has a curse, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna wed a witch because she'll be strong.
So strong.
I believe this is it.
Yeah, that one in the middle. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah.
So.
Me either. Anyone seen it? Want to talk about it? Put it down in the comments. Okay. So I haven't watched A Condition Called Love. I haven't watched that yet. But I have watched the Camino Glass, the bartender. Hell yeah. I like this show a lot. One of our friends, he says this is a remake, and from what he's told me, they changed a little bit about it to the fact to where it was mostly a character walks into the bar and they're like down on their luck or something's troubling them, and he makes them the perfect drink to like help soothe their soul and just make everything better, right? And it just kind of like gives you a little bit of story, a little character development of the character of the week, and that's all it was before. Now it's about these two workers who work at a hotel, and they're trying to fill a position in this bar that they have at their really, really like high-end hotel. Oh, was I muted? How long was I muted?
For like a minute.
What was the last thing I said?
You said it was a high-end hotel. And then
high-end hotel. I guess I hit the mute button by accident. Anyway, yeah, it's about these two workers who's trying to find a bartender to fill in a position at their really high-end hotel for their bar. This really nice bar. And they're trying to find someone that the boss, the owner of the hotel, is like someone who can make the glass of God. So like they're like, what the hell is that? What the hell is that supposed to mean, Grandpa? And they're just like, oh, you figure it out. Like, so they go looking and they find this dude. He's a very good bartender, but he works at this like little really hidden bar not too many people know about, but it's kind of like a hidden gem, but it's only open every so often. But they run into him and they're like, hey, they kind of like test him every once in a while. And you see some of the customers, like it still keeps a little bit of that stuff. Like, oh, there's a character of the week that comes in and he helps them with a drink and he makes them the perfect drink. And sometimes it's something so simple and sometimes it's something that's super complex. It is very much
a glass of water.
Yeah, a glass of water. I mean, that's something I feel like he would do. It's like, man, you just need a glass of water. But it is very much a gourmet show as well, about how in depth they go into mixology and stuff like that. Like, these bartenders take their job super serious, man. It is an art form. It is something that these people go to like really high end like universities or classes or courses to do. That's just part of it, because the other half of it is knowing how to read the customer. Even if it's just like you seem like they're so down, and you can tell just by like what bag they have, you can kind of tell like their jobs. Oh, this person's an attorney, they go through all this kind of stuff. And then he serves them a drink, tells them the story behind the drink, and some kind of resolution happens for the characters. Like, oh, maybe it's not so bad, or they kind of get an idea of what they need to do. It's still a good show. I like it a lot. The last episode I saw was very boring because they go to a brewery and they're like, oh, this is all about this stuff, right? Like, this is the history and the science behind a brewery and a distillery. Yeah. But the main dude, he's a very cool character. I like how they present him and stuff. The only thing I don't like is that he's kind of dumb. He's definitely that character. Is like, I know nothing other than bartending. Everything else is like,
gotcha. I can barely feed myself.
I don't know how to use a phone.
Yeah.
But I can make
phone.
Yeah. But I could but he's like, even the temperature of this alcohol will change its taste. I mixed the glass to where it was a slight lower temperature so you could get this exact flavor. It is crazy. If you are interested in gourmet like drinks and stuff like that, you definitely find something you like about this show. It definitely goes in depth to it.
Do you learn any new drinks you want to order if you ever go to a bar again?
Nothing
looked good.
Definitely It's simple. The way he presents it and stuff, it makes me want a highball.
Highball.
A highball, and it's just like whiskey and soda. Easy, simple drink.
Easy.
Yeah, easy, simple drink.
Highball. What makes it a highball then? Whiskey and Coke?
I mean, yeah,
Just
technically, it's like club soda that they use to make a highball. No, you definitely learn a lot from it. There was a whole episode about martinis and how every martini is different. There will never be the same martini. Everyone makes a martini differently, whether it's the ingredients or how they make it. It's the king of all cocktails, and it's like that for a reason.
Dude,
very classy. Yeah.
Speaking of alcoholic drinks, I'm not much of an alcohol drinker, right? But
okay.
When I went to Cancun, man, and those pina coladas were so good. Dude.
Maybe he'll make a pina colada.
It's so dude, like fruit in not America tastes so much better, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different world, dude. Our fruit sucks, and I've heard this before, like podcasts and stuff. But like, dude, it's not even. Holy shit! Those pina, and I drank 2 of those bad boys, dude, and they're big. And I'm a big guy, so I didn't feel it. But god damn, I wanted more. But I'll never forget like just how tasty they were, dude. I can't wait to like just have something like that again one day. I'm very much a fruity drink person because I just love that type of shit.
I bet he could make you a good drink, Adrian. He's so good with requests. People will be like, people come in and they are super like unreasonable, but he is so like smart that he knows how to like meet the requests of the customer. Crazy. He knows so much. But there's also other bartenders are like, man, it's a cutthroat industry, because they'll be like, oh, your drink sucks. Let's see who can make a better like cosmopolitan, and then they'll try it and they're like, oh, I like his better, and they're like, try it again. They're like, oh, the flavor's changed. And he's like, yes.
The flavor's changed.
He's like, yes, it's because he did this slightly different thing, and now that you waited a little bit, now the flavor's changed. I present a drink that has a constant flavor, and he like slams his fist on the table like, ugh, and get out of there.
Oh, damn.
He's like, oh, I'm a shit bartender. He's right. Just like, no, I like your drink better. He's like, no, I can't beat them. So there's still that kind of drama that happens, and it's so funny to see just these bartenders like go at each other. Yeah, dude. There's this one chick too, like she's like, like I'm not a very good bartender, and he's always telling her, he's like, well, if this is the drink you're making, maybe you should give up. How dare you tell me to give up? I'll show you. God. But yeah, I do like Bartender, Glass of God. It's a good show. I could talk about it all the time.
Glass of God.
But yeah, if y'all like alcohol, drama, good character development, or something that goes into like mixology in the very gourmet sense, then you should definitely check it out. I can't wait to see more episodes of it. Okay, what's next? Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night. That was that show I really wanted to watch. I haven't got to it yet. One? No, it's not 3D. Like a band one. Yeah, it's like a bunch of these really artful, I don't know if they're students, but a bunch of these artful girls come together and they bring their talents together and they create something. That's how it showed in the trailer. I haven't got to it.
Yeah.
But I haven't got to watch it just yet. Still want to. Still on my list. Just haven't got to it. Okay. And then Whisper Me a Love Song. I watched a little bit of this show, the Girls Love Show, and I still say lesbians. I still think Girls Love is super boring.
Damn.
For real, dude. I'm just like, this is boring. Because
it seems from the trailer, it just seemed like very much a very, very regular romance, but it's just 2 girls. But it's like popular person in band making music. It's, I fell for the person making. It doesn't matter if the chick is a girl. It's just kind of like that same story, right?
Yeah.
Which I guess is fine. It's just kind of like I don't know.
It poses the question, Adrian. What is love?
What
is love?
Okay.
Because the thing is, the MC, or let's say the band chick, the musician, she's like, oh, I really like this girl. And the other girl's like, I love you. And they're like, oh, she loves me. But she kind of uses the term very loosely, because like if she tells everyone she loves them, even like some of her friends. She's like, oh, I love you. It's like, but I love, and she's like, you use that. You're not supposed to like use that all the time, because like it means different. It has different meaning to people. She's like, but I like, do you like this boy in our class? She's like, yeah, I love him. He's like, yeah, see, like I like him, but you don't really like him. Yeah, she's very loose with the term, and it causes conflict.
Because you can say you love your friends or your, your close friends, But like your friend at school that you see every now and then is not. That's an acquaintance, right? That's
Yeah.
not a lifelong friend type of thing.
Yeah, she doesn't exactly. What is love? It poses the question,
Yeah,
and that's
but
where a
love
lot of
is
the
also
drama
yeah.
happens. So maybe
Gotcha.
so maybe the musician will show her what true love
For what
is.
love is,
Mm-hmm.
then give her the total wrong message as well.
Exactly.
That love can only be sexual.
Yeah, exactly.
Letter. No, it's not exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at the show right now. Moving on, moving on. So I did watch this show, the Yozakura family, and the quick synopsis to just to kind of like bring you back. It's this one dude falls in love with this girl, but she happens to be in a family of spies. Her family,
Oh yeah.
and so he has to win the favor of the family in order to
Against all the
marry.
spy family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than what we expected in the trailer.
Okay.
He does like marry, and he is married to the girl. They are engaged, and only the older brother has like a problem with it. All the other siblings are totally cool. They're like, yo, welcome to the family and stuff. And he's like, no, I hate you. You will not marry my sister, because he has some kind of PTSD about them losing their parents, and so he kind of like realizes he never wants to lose another family member again. And all the other ones are like supernatural, like, oh, they're so strong, they have some kind of like little gimmick to them, right?
Sort of quirk, you would say.
I didn't want to say that, but yes. Yeah, except the main chick. She's the only one who's not like a superhuman. Okay. So they have to protect her, because as the only family member that's not superhuman, it means she's the next head of the family. And so the MC has lost his family. He has nowhere to go. He has no other like living relative. And so he dedicates his life to like protecting her and becoming part of the family, right? Because he has no family.
Sounds like fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a shonen. You know, he's like not very good at the beginning, but then he does like a lot of training with the family, and he gets a little bit better.
A shonen?
Yeah, it is actually like it definitely has the shonen formula. But yeah, he gets to spend a little time with each member of the family, the character development. He learns a little something. He gains like a skill from hanging out with one of the family members, so he can become like the ultimate husband for her.
Gotcha.
And it's all to win the favor. I mean, they don't really say it, because none of them like the eldest brother, because he's so attached to the little sister. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't. It's like, oh, it's my pride and joy. Yeah. He's like,
yeah, he's being weird about it.
He is very weird about it. He's very fond of her.
very
fond of her. And they're just like, yeah, you need to stop. Let him handle it. And he's like, no, I will never.
No, I won't lose to you.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing to write home about, but it's a fun show. If you just want something that's like nice little funny show, like just like a bag of chips, right? It's like junk food. I don't regret watching it, but I wouldn't like lose sleep over missing an episode.
Yeah, you know that like, oh man, I can't wait for the next episode. You're like, if it's around, I'll watch the next one.
Yeah, it's fine. That's what I would say about it. It's a fine show. Okay, we did not watch Yuru Camp. We haven't watched Black Butler.
Let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it. I like this show a lot.
This show sucks.
No, it doesn't. Amazing. Yeah, this show's so I love the show. Dude. I put this out on Twitter too. That like I feel like this is a very like unappreciated show of the season.
Did we react to the wrong show, dude? Fuck.
I don't know, but people do like this show, but they like it for a different reason.
Yeah, because the Mimi Boob Girl, but the actual substance of the show.
Oh God, yeah. We're talking about mysterious disappearances. If you haven't figured this out already,
probably should mention the title. Big booby lady, yes, the 30-year-old apartment wife. The fact that her name is apartment wife on the phone when she answers it. This show is not like the usual thing I watch, right? But there's usually nothing like this out there, right?
It comes around like, very seldom that a show like this happens.
It's just dealing in urban myths or urban,
just rumors
and like
folklore
and stuff like that. Like, hey, this person disappeared one day because blah 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 happened, and I don't know. It's hard to explain.
It's occult stuff. It's just like you said.
Occult. That's the word. Yeah, occult stuff. Yeah, dude, I just dig the vibe of it. Like, I don't know where it's gonna go in the long run and whatnot, but yeah, dude, just totally into like that horror. And it's not even like it's overly horror or anything, but it's like the way everything's drawn and presented.
It's the aesthetic.
Like, I don't know if you've seen any of the character designs of Danganronpa characters,
Oh yeah,
but how
for
their
sure.
eyes look and stuff. But it's like a toned down version of that, right?
Mhm.
Of how everyone looks. And yeah, dude, I just dig it, man. Like I've actually enjoyed watching it quite a bit.
When it's funny that you mentioned the eyes, because I want to bring up definitely like something that's very subtle. Maybe some people don't notice it, and it may be plot related or not, but none of these characters have the same eyes. All of their eye designs are completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I don't know if that has something to do with the plot or if that's just like a design from the mangaka or whatever. But yeah, all of them have different eyes for some reason.
That is true. Yeah, I'm wondering because I never noticed that it was like every character, but yeah, that is true, right? I wonder what. Yeah, I don't know. It's like hard to say anything about the show because it's like it's just so weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, there's definitely, I say formula a lot because that's just like how these shows are written. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
But like it follows the same kind of as like the Monogatari series and stuff, where there is a character that's having an issue, a supernatural issue, and then the main characters are there to kind of like resolve it, the MC. And that's what they do a lot. Like you said, like there is a mysterious disappearance of a person, and it's caused by some supernatural entity, and they have to go.
And it's not like they're fighting a ghost, right? But they're like figuring out the mystery behind it, like why is this happening? Oh, and when does it happen?
There's a lot of research that has to get done.
Yeah, it's a like mystery, right? They're not like swinging fists at these things or anything like that.
They follow rules because that's how the folklore is, and they have to like, they don't know what the issue is because sometimes it could be a combination of a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, the most interesting episode was literally the last episode I have not watched. When does this show come out? On Wednesday? Thursdays?
I think it comes out on the weekend, sometime on the weekend.
The last episode was like the most interesting one because it was literally most of the episode like figuring out. It's that like conversation like two characters have, and they're like, "I just realized the thing," and then they start explaining like the rules and what's been happening. Then you start piecing it together as someone who's watching. You're like, "Oh, I think I see what's happening," and then reveal of like what is actually going on with this occult thing that's been happening to this character, right? And they like all put pieces together finally. It does have like little pieces of like, I want to say slice of life, but you spend a lot of time with Oto-chan. Is that
Oh,
her name?
the little girl, yeah, Oto.
Yeah, Otoke. I can't remember what her name
it's
is.
Oto.
It's you're mainly spending time with her and apartment wife.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Sumeriko.
Yes, Americo, and another great addition to another 30-something burnout.
Oh
who's
yeah.
the main character of the show.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about her for when we get a chance.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's her, like the brother's kind of a side character, and it's mainly her and Oto-chan. Oto is show, but yeah, she has very big boobs, and that's what everyone talks about.
Yeah, they do talk about her because of that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what did you want to mention?
Oh, I just wanted to talk about her, that how she's a character where like, I mean, I feel like a lot of people can relate to it, that she was like a prodigy, like, oh, you're so smart, like your future looks so bright, right? Because she was a award-winning author at a very young age, and it's kind of hard to like live up to those expectations and stuff.
Yeah, she
right?
When she was like young, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she's kind of chasing after that former glory, right?
Yeah, what people told her when she was like growing up, but like the reality is when she got older and was writing books, there's a lot more walls, and like I think that's the thing the character hasn't realized yet, right? Is that like, yeah, that's what people were telling you when you were a kid, because you were a kid, but now that you're in the adult world, this is what publishers think about stories and original ideas and whatnot, and they suggest, no, you shouldn't do the thing you like, you should do the thing that sells money, right?
For
and
sure.
Stuff like that. And it's not actually her, and she thinks it's her fault. And I hope she gets to this point eventually that no, it's not actually your fault. It's like the industry and the world you're in. You've never lost that talent. You just got to like find a way to break out somehow, right?
Yeah.
But she's like trapped in this thought of like, oh, I can never write anything as good as when I was a kid. And she's like trapped in that loop.
She's a very well written character. I really enjoy her a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
And she's not all like boingo boingo boobly like everywhere, just sometimes, but not all the time.
Yeah, and like the son, not the son, it's not the son, the brother character, that Oto's brother,
Rin.
Yeah, he makes references and fun of it really a lot, right? And they do little jokes with it, but it's never overt, right? And then she just plays it off as funny too. Like she doesn't fucking like stupid fucking kid.
Yeah.
I'm 30 something. Like shut the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
It's very much how an adult would talk to a young man who's like, I imagine he's like or 17 or some shit.
No telling. Yeah, he definitely looks like a young adult.
He's probably 300 years old, but it looks like someone like either senior in high school, in those ages, right?
Yeah,
like,
or young 20s.
You're pretty much a young. But yeah, the way those two interact, cuckoo. Yeah,
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it when he says that so much. It's so annoying.
Cuckoo.
Ugh.
But yeah, no, they the whole seems like they keep adding people to their. They don't have a crew, but it's like people they know who've seen these like crazy occurrences, and they kind of like reference each other. Like, oh, there's the teacher in that one arc. And it's like, okay, now she kind of shows up every now and then. And I imagine they're just gonna add more people as they go. But yeah, no, I mean, it's like I'm interested in every little mystery, and I want to see more. I don't know what like the overall plot is because they're like hinting at certain things of like the two are trying to get back home and whatnot. It's like, okay, well, what does that mean?
What's like we know her intentions, right? We know that Sumeriko is like trying to find material to write her next novel. So she's dealing with all these mysteries and stuff to help her get ideas. But we still don't know what we still don't know what Ren's like, what their actual motive is. He keeps mentioning that he wants to send Otto back, right? He wants to like send her home.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not like normal humans, but we still don't know what's like their end goal for the whole thing.
Definitely. But yeah, man, I dig the total vibe. Wish there's more shows like this. If there's any that you think are like so definitely with like recommendations. But,
for sure.
It's definitely such a vibe, dude.
The OP is such a banger too.
Yeah, the OP is like fucking incredible. Surprise of the season for me, for sure. Because I thought it might be interesting when like we saw the trailer, right? But it's like, oh, that could be cool.
I feel like the trailer doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, definitely not. And the show's not like this wild, crazy thing either, right? It's not. I think it's just like really solid and well done, and there's good character work.
It has enough pull to keep me like waiting for the next episode. I enjoy the characters.
Yeah, me too.
Even like you said, even like when they're not like out dealing with what they call them curiosities, the entities, when they're just like hanging out and just spending time together, it's a fun episode.
It's a good time. Sure.
Okay, to the next one. Let's see. We didn't watch God's Game. We didn't watch Newgate. I did pick back up Hibiki Euphonium season 3, and it kind of reminded me like why I like the show to begin with. Because first of all, it is so pretty. It is such a pretty show. Like even like the glossiness of the instruments, like the animators in the studio, of course, Kyoto does such a great job. But yeah, so much detail goes into every scene. The sheen off the instruments, like I was saying. Every character has their own little, like, how can I say, their little niche or whatever, that you can tell who's who, their personality, right? They do such a good job of being able to separate so many characters. It's a huge cast. It is a huge cast of characters, but each character is just so different. So being able to keep up with such a high demand is, it's a feat in itself. But also drama. There's so much drama, just like, just band drama. If anyone's been a band kid and they know, they've had to deal with a lot of these same things because, their main goal is they want to go to nationals and they want to get gold. They're a concert band. That's what they want to do. And they will do what it takes to get there. Because right now, the big drama that's happening right now is they're trying to get positions, right? There's got to be someone who does the solo. There's got to be a duet. And not everybody's going to cut it. So they have to hold auditions. And the whole thing about it is, it's like, and maybe you can tell me what you think about it, Adrian. Do you think seniority holds over or talent? Because the auditions are completely performance-based. Whoever plays the better gets the part. And some people are just like, I don't feel like just because I play better is like I'm taking away someone's like last chance to perform. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think it's black and white at all, man. I think it's like really depending on how much better does this person play. And stuff like that, right? It's like, they play about the same, or she plays 10% better. Okay, well, pick the person who's been more senior, and then that crazy the one who's really good will play next year, right?
But if they want to go, because like they want to go to nationals, and even if the senior, even if the senior doesn't get the position, like it doesn't like, it's not taking away everyone else's opportunity, right? Because maybe some of the other seniors get to go. But if you're like if you're picking somebody just because they're a senior and they perform worse, then you're depriving others of the opportunity, right?
Well, yeah, in the competition sense, I mean, you would pick the best, obviously. Of course, you have backups, right? They're second string or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, if you're looking towards a competition, then you think about the whole team and you pick your best. That's like literally it.
Yeah. So there's drama like that. There's that kind of drama. There's dramas like maybe people don't get along with each other. And our main character, she's the president of the club, and she sees this, and she has to be like a mediator on a lot of these issues. Like even the teacher, the conductor, the orchestran lead, he doesn't deal with all of this. They're not supposed to bother him with like these petty issues. His job is to get them the best that they can be so they can go. And they go to him, they do go to him to issues like, why did you pick her over him? And he's like, well, she's louder, and in this competition, like, volume is very important. She may play better, but like stuff like that. And she's like, I thought you were gonna take us to like gold. And he's like, I hate for you to put it like that, because I want y'all to believe. I don't want y'all to think that I'm taking y'all there. Y'all are taking yourselves there with y'all's talent.
Not guaranteed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's just a case of people's feelings will get hurt. And it's like, no, you just do the thing you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter if they bitch or cry. Like, it is a team effort, and you have to pick the best in the team.
Mm-hmm. It's cutthroat.
Very much there.
Concert band is a cutthroat.
Not even cutthroat, it's just realistic. It's like that everywhere. But I don't know, maybe in Japan, like, seniority is like a lot more. I think it's a cultural thing as well, right? Where they I think like in America, a lot more people would agree with me for sure. The way I'm looking at it,
that a senior should get the position no matter what.
No, that skill should get the position no matter what.
Yeah,
that,
I
like,
agree.
Seniority actually matters very little.
I agree. If y'all have a goal and everybody's like agreed to it, then y'all do what it takes.
Yeah, it's a team. It's a team effort. It's a competition. If it wasn't a competition, whatever. Like seniority, like it's a scale, right? Because at that point, it's a scale, because it's not deciding a whole competition. You put your best foot forward, not what like makes everyone's feelings better. Not the way the world works.
I enjoy the show. It's been fun watching Kumiko start off as this senior who was very quiet and didn't want to kind of like stand out very much. With the goal of going to nationals with like her best friend. Like that was their dream since they were freshmen, or even middle schoolers. They just want to go to nationals. And after all this time, that maybe this is their last shot, and they're like doing what they can just to get there. So
doing whatever they need to do to get it done. That's probably how the people before them felt too, right?
Exactly. And they kind of, she, as the president, she kind of understands like how all her other seniors, very neat to see. And of course she goes through the same issue as like, oh, what do you want to do with your life? Like, you should be deciding. Like all of her teachers, her parents, like, do you know what you're gonna do? And she's like, I don't know just yet. And like, that's fine, but you know, the time's coming. I remembered why I liked it so much. Okay, to the next one. Watch any of these. I kind of want to go back and watch Train at the End of the World, just because I've seen clips of it, and it kind of reminds me a whole lot of what's it called, Gakko Garashi, which like up front it's this very cutesy, oh, cute girls doing cute things, right? It's like, oh, we're just spending time together. But in the background, there's a more like dark background going on. Like in Gakko Garashi, like it was the zombie apocalypse, and all these girls were held up in a school, and they were just like in a delusion to still try and live out like school life.
Yeah, it's in.
So this seems like it is the end of the world, and they're on this train, and they're wanting to do something. That's just what I've seen from the clips and stuff. So like I said, it reminds me of that. I kind of want to check it out and see what it's all about. Or maybe it's just a huge piece of shit. We'll see when I see it. Okay. Viral hit. The animation isn't as pretty or as impressive as some of these other shows. Like, it's something that I definitely would expect from like a low budget Netflix show. Yeah.
Viral hit.
But yeah, the main character, he is getting beat up by bullies who they have their little YouTube channel, and they're kind of profiting off of bullying him, and he thinks it's very unfair, until one day like he fights back against one of these bullies, and somehow he's being streamed fighting back, and people are like rooting him on. He's like, hey, like, we streamed this and we actually made money off of it. Like, and that's kind of like, if anyone's ever tried to make a YouTube channel, and they always tell you like you need a niche. So his niche becomes beating up bullies for his YouTube channel. And he's not very good at fighting, but he does find a secret YouTube channel of the Chicken Man that you see like in the cover art, which has like no subscribers, has barely any views, but he has like actual good advice about like learning how to fight and stuff. because the very first thing the main character learns how to do is learn how to take a hit without actually getting hurt. And what that is whenever somebody's like punching you, right? Once someone's arm is fully extended, that's when you get like the most impact. But if you can take the hit before their arm completely extends, it lowers the impact by a lot. So he learns how to take a hit, and then the next thing he does is he learns to do a very specific like kick, and that's all he gets good at. That's all he is at this point. But there's even this like MMA guy that everyone's scared of that's part of his class, and he notices him and he's like, "Oh, I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel. But like I've always wondered, like I've seen you do your move, but why don't you ever use the follow-up move?" And he's like, in his head, he's like, "I don't know what the follow-up move. I needed to watch more videos." And he's like, I haven't got to that point in the video yet. Gotten that part in the videos yet." And he's like, "Oh, I see. Well, I look forward to your videos, man." So it's him and one of his former bullies make this YouTube channel, and they are just beating up other bullies. So.
The freaking chicken. I was like, see a picture of the chicken man head. It looks hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about the animation. Looks fine. It's just generic. I get like there's nothing
Yeah.
There's just nothing that stands out. I guess when I look at it, other than the chicken head, but it's just like realistic.
Yeah.
Proportions.
It just looks super low budget, man. Like even the actions and the movement of the animation is just kind of like
fighting.
Yeah.
Like in the show called Viral Hip about beating a bully. Like...
Yeah, it's definitely an underdog story. If y'all like an underdog story, I should definitely check it out.
Viral Hip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I definitely see it now in motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like these guys are talking. Okay, wow. The pictures I saw in Google were way better. I guess maybe like the animation quality dips up and down constantly.
It's not very good.
Oh yeah, this is definitely not great.
I would say it's definitely like one of the more disappointing shows.
Something like this, I would expect like the animation to be really good because it's all about
MMA, like fighting.
People.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the stills when I look at,
they're probably pick and choosy because there's definitely part where they show like the love interest and stuff, and it's all sparkly and kind of like a little bit more defined.
Yeah, they definitely, because like the up close face shots and stuff when he's like gritting his teeth.
Yeah,
like it looks totally good actually, and the chicken man head looks great.
Oh yeah,
the stills.
The chicken head just it's a still. Like literally, it doesn't move in the video either. It's just him standing there talking.
But yeah, watching everyone else in motion, it does not look great. Or it looks low budget. Like One Piece fights look better. Like low budget One Piece fights look better. You know the ones I'm talking about, right? Where it's just like kind of nothing.
It's a shame that the animation is so bad. It probably the show. I think the story and the plot and everything is interesting enough as is, but yeah, the animation kind of like really throws it off.
Lets it down.
Yeah,
man, that's disappointing because it does look like might be pretty good, but yeah, the animation is just not there for what it's trying to sell.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. Haven't watched the voice actor radio. Haven't watched Girl Bands Cry yet, even though there's some really good like clips and memes, like the chick who's just flipping everybody off. That's great. I love it. I want to watch Salad Bowl of Eccentrics, but I haven't got to that point yet. We can talk about the Fable. Fable, indeed. This also has like the animation style like I would see at a Netflix show, but it's definitely not as low budget. Or if it is a low budget show, they were able to work with it a little bit better because there's not as much action. It's a lot of like standing around, very talky. The guy moves very slow, so it's easy to work with that kind of situation. And then the few times where he does have to like act, it does look good. It's not like, how can I say, they're still not putting all their money in the action scenes, but it's enough for it to get by.
Yeah, it's not like a noticeable dip or anything.
Yeah.
Because you're not there for the action, right? But it needs to be good enough to where it matches the rest of the show.
But yeah, a lot of the show is standing around, maybe talking or chatting, him talking to himself or him on the phone, stuff like that, you know. So when he actually does move around, it looks pretty clean. But the next thing I should talk about is the humor of it, because it's not like a super eccentric like comedy like you see from a bunch of different animes. He's a very stoic man. He kind of like talks really slow and monotone, but he's a little quirky because just because how he's brought up. He's a hitman. He's like one of the best hitmen ever, so of course he's a little different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's. I'm trying to think of what the show gives me a vibe, but like when I look at the show, I think of like not a detective show, but like that vibe, right? Of hard boiled.
Yeah, it's hard boiled.
Right.
It's very there's a lot of Yakuza influence because
Yeah.
he does have to deal with a lot of Yakuza people. So if you have knowledge, right? If you've played like the Yakuza series, you kind of understand how it works, how the organization works, the positions, and other families like mingle with each other, right? The whole thing is him and his driver, which is his now sister, are laying low for a little while from doing from his main job. So they go live in a different city under this different Yakuza family, under their protection, I would say. And they're like, yeah, these people are laying low. This guy's very dangerous. Don't fuck with them. Just let them chill out. That's what like the father would say, right? And then everyone's like, I don't know about this guy. Like, I'm gonna test him. Is he really the guy? Is he really the legendary
this guy?
The legendary hitman? So they're kind of like always messing with them and stuff.
He really Kazuma Kiryu.
Yeah, is
I
he
don't
really?
believe you.
Mm-hmm.
The Dragon of Dojima.
The dragon. But yeah, he's legit. He's just kind of like trying to acclimate to kind of just having a chill life, getting a pet, learning the value of a life, just getting a job, you know.
To living a normal people life instead of being a hitman.
He is a professional, man. He is the epitome of professional, because there's times like where people like, even like the other Yakuza, like they hire people to go beat him up, and he's able to play it out all in his head, like, oh, if I'll take this punch and then I'll start like whining like a wimp, and then they'll never know, and just like, oh, it's so good.
But it's very. It reminds me of a show called Barry, where it's very much it's a HBO show. Where it's a guy. He's raised to be an assassin. He's been an assassin his whole life. But then he wants to be an assassin and be an actor. So it's like this thing where he's trying to live a regular life, but keeps getting pulled into assassin bullshit. All this crazy shit happens and all that. It's really good. Like, if you're interested, watch Barry. It's a really good show.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it does sound very similar. He doesn't want to be an actor or anything, because it sounds like, especially to be an actor, you have to be super eccentric. But no, this guy's very monotone. He's just like, oh, okay. Like he eats he eats the rinds off like edamame and watermelons, and they're like, you're not supposed to eat those, and he's like, oh, you're not. Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. He sounds like okay, like psychotic.
Yeah,
not psychotic, but like kind of like monotone.
Deadpan. He's like deadpan.
Yeah, like yeah.
The only thing that can ever break his character is that there's this one comedian that he just loves named Jackal. So whenever he comes up, and he's bad, he's a bad comedian, because then he'll be like, whenever the punchline hits, he'll like fly back, or just like, oh, like really dumb like comedy, and he'll just bust out laughing. He's like, ah, yes, Jackal's working hard as always. He'll see his product placements like on shampoo, and he's like, ah, I see Jackal is even working hard here. It's just like his role model. He just loves that dude. I can't wait till I'm sure he's gonna actually meet him at some point, and I can't wait to see that.
Oh man. So what's left? What do
we?
Fable is the last one?
Not quite. I have, looking at the list, I have one more show that I want to talk, like from this season, that I want to talk about, and then I want to talk about one other show, just because I've been loving it so much. Okay, I'll move on to Astronaut. It is it's from the trailer where
it's the one on the left there.
Yeah, this one right here. It's where this the MC, he starts living in this what would you call it? Like a yeah, he starts living at this apartment, and he starts making breakfast for the residents. And he falls in love with like the landlady, who is also like an alien.
Who happens to be
an alien. Who happens to be an alien who's come to Earth on a mission to look for something very specific that happens to be in this apartment. But
they're looking for something specifically in that apartment.
They're looking for like a key, and the last on their data, the last place it was seen, it was in this spot on Earth. So she is taken over as the landlady with the help of her dog. Her alien dog is looking for this MacGuffin. I really enjoyed the show a lot more than I expected, because the characters carry the show so much. Like, I do not care she's an alien. That is part of the show, but that's not like the part of the show, right? All the connections with these other characters and the other tenants, it's just so interesting. I like all of the tenants so much.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's the bum father and his son. There's the old novelist man. There's the really slobbish girl who's also, or by day she's a slobbish girl, but at night she's like an idol.
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah.
Is it, girl, you live like this?
Yeah, for real, she is that girl. She's like, girl, do you live like this?
Oh man.
And then of course, and then there's the landlady who knows very little about Earth, so she's like, what is this? What is this? Ooh, like she doesn't understand a lot of Earth stuff. And then the main character, who's also a very world-class chef, who's like, oh, I'm in love with her so much, like always trying to like get in good favor with her. So there's that little bit of romance in between about will he get with her, will he not?
Will they, won't they?
Will they, won't they? Trying to build a connection. There's other characters like her so-called fiance, which is like just another alien that's come down to help her. He lives in his giant ass castle because they have no idea like what Earth is really like. He drives like a really hardcore like sports car that's supposed to be like his spaceship or something. It's one of those shows that's super eccentric. It's very funny.
Cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
Cool.
We're getting to that point. We got one more show to talk about.
Dude, can we talk about One Piece at the end of this and the fucking Egghead arc so far?
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, let's finish up this. What was the other show for you?
I want to talk about Dungeon Meshi. Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh yeah.
I really want to talk about Delicious in Dungeon. I know it's a continuation from last season, but damn, has the vibe changed with this show since then? Because the first season was just like, oh, like it's good at world building, and that's what I love about. That's what I look for in a show more than anything. Is just like the world building. I'll be in sync with it.
It felt like it was. I mean, the little I've watched, like, because it did really expand on the world, but the monsters, like, it was like watching a bestiary.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's like this is all the monsters, and this is how they're built, and this is what they eat, and like their whole ecosystem.
That is part of world building, just like the animals. Yeah,
definitely part of it. But very low, where I was doing the show, I knew very little about the world. Where what it seemed like to me is that there was one dungeon in the world, and it was like this super dungeon people go into to like get money. They're going there for some reason. I never really connected it.
Well, they go in for treasure, and the whole thing is whoever defeats the dungeon technically becomes the new master of it.
Okay.
They gain everything that the dungeon has to offer. And that's kind of like the end goal of like why people are trying to conquer the dungeon.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you were saying?
Talking
about the anatomy and stuff about the monsters.
Well, I was saying like they're just really good at building out those like monsters and stuff and the bestiary stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're cooking them obviously, and so he's like literally explaining every little piece of the thing they killed, or what was a Doulahan? What is it actually in this world?
Oh yeah, the moving armors.
Yeah, he said it was a slug inside or something like that.
They're like crustaceans. They use the armor as like a shell. Yeah, they're mollusks. They definitely
but no. It's just you said there was a turn on the show. It's just I stopped watching because I could eventually lost interest and got bored of it because it was kind of the same thing like 5-6 episodes in. But apparently there's something that happens, and eventually I saw it on Twitter and people were freaking out, being like, "What the fuck is this thing? What is this show?"
That was like a really good point.
Show.
Yeah. So good.
It's on my list to go back to.
But yeah. As they're going, they're meeting more characters. They're explaining more how the dungeon works, why the dungeon is the way it is, and why things the way it is. And they expand a little bit more on like magic and, like I said, why things work the way they do in the dungeon and why these things are here. And just like, man, it's getting interesting. This isn't just about the food anymore. Like they still have the food. It's still important part of the show because I mean that's it's kind of like the staple. That's the staple of it. But there's this overarching like plot in the background that's going on. That's like, damn, this is serious now. There's actual stakes.
Well, their initial adventure at the start of the show wasn't that interesting, right? It's just like, okay, like even you said right with the show started, you're like, I kind of hate the main plot of like what their goal is.
Oh yeah. Well, it's because like they never explained it. Because the whole thing was like one of their party members got eaten by a dragon, and they're like trying to get back to save her. I was like, no, dude, like she's dead. Like, she's there's no way you could save her in this amount of time. But how can I say? It fixes that plot hole, saying that even if someone dies in the dungeon, like there's a specific curse that keeps the soul from leaving the body. So if the body is still intact, you could still resurrect them if someone
Which
dies,
they mentioned at the beginning of the show, right? They say like, oh, we can still resurrect.
yeah, but
As
they
long as the
never
body's
elaborated on
okay.
it.
Yeah, but
Because
it was like
like,
weird rules. Like, okay, fantasy
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, because like if you
Kind of
die
like
outside the dungeon, no, you're dead. You can't resurrect.
okay.
But in the dungeon, it's very specific in the dungeon that if
It
you
only
die
works
in
the
there,
dungeon.
yeah, you can be resurrected.
People aren't just resurrecting out in the actual world. It's only in the specific dungeon.
So it's like, oh, they can actually save her if they hurry, go and retrieve the body. So that helped. That made me feel a little bit better about it.
Okay.
Yeah, the cast of characters are so great, and at first, like, I was like, I don't know about Laios and them, but I kind of like Marcel already kind of like grew on me. I was like, yeah, she's a pretty cool character, but yeah, I like all the characters now. Oh,
Who's your
man.
favorite?
Who's my favorite? Senshi. Senshi right now, but you know this new character, Izumi, the cat, the cat lady or whatever.
Oh God,
she's pretty funny. It's not because she's like. She's kind of an asshole.
Does she go meow?
She doesn't go meow.
No.
Golly, it's funny.
Yeah, no,
Just
I
were going
definitely
on
need to
me.
watch more of it because it seems like I don't want to get spoiled on it. I haven't been. I saw one scene and I was like, wow, this scene's in this show weird. Like I didn't think this.
No, yeah, that was pretty hardcore.
Yeah, and then maybe we're thinking the same thing, but there was a ritual being done, and I was like, what the fuck? Why is this show got dark?
Yeah, it does get dark.
And so I was like, okay, maybe I should.
Yeah, that's a big reveal in this show. So if y'all haven't seen Delicious in Dungeon yet, please watch it. Give it a chance. It is so good. I love Trigger, and I was like, oh, Trigger, I knew you couldn't do me wrong. I knew it. I knew it. I believed.
Yeah, it is the Trigger show, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Cyberpunk 2, goddammit?
Where is it?
Where's Cyberpunk? David's alive, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Alive, he's on the moon.
Let's talk about One Piece now.
Oh, I just wanted to say, man, what a fucking egg art, so good, dude. It's all, what is it? All killer, no filler so far. Especially, I guess it's because of how...
What pace it is?
It's just like how bad the pacing was at the end of Wano.
Oh, yeah.
It's like so refreshing to be like, oh, fuck, they're finally moving it along.
And
you know they can't keep it up. And they're gonna, I think they're gonna go on hiatus because they're really close to the manga now.
Oh, yeah. After Egghead, they're gonna go on hiatus.
But I'm glad they're just like, ah, fuck, they're not even trying to like. I mean, they still throw the recap episodes every now and then, right? They'll still get us every couple of weeks. It's like, here's this character, let's go recap who they are. But the animation style, the opening, fucking the fight with Lucci, dude. I don't know. Me and Luis have been gushing about it, but I don't know how you feel about it.
No, it's great. It's so badass.
Yeah.
Like, and we got to see some Blackbeard action, even though like with Law and stuff, we actually got to see some of our boy come back.
Dude, fucking shit. There's so much crazy shit that hasn't happened. I'm so glad I read it, dude. It's like the way the show's been doing it, and like if you haven't read the manga or whatever, like read it, because like watching is a whole other experience. Because the show grabs pieces and just expands them and expands them like quite a bit. Like that Lucci fight, dude, was like, it was there. It was not that fight. Like holy shit. Like some of the things they do with like when they expand certain parts and pieces out, dude, it's just so good. Like there'll be in a whole episode that is 2 panels, but it's still like super fun all the way through. So I'm glad I read it, but it makes me so excited for, dude, we're gonna get to this flashback arc and it's probably gonna go down as like the best flashback arc. There's no fucking way it doesn't. And then the show's gonna go on hiatus. Yeah. And then it's gonna be like, fuckers later. We're not gonna finish this.
They're gonna do the remastered stuff or the remake, the One Piece remake in this hiatus time, man. I just know it.
Yeah, I mean that shit with like the show taking off. Because the pacing, I mean, it's just the pacing is bad.
If they do it like a Kai, like Dragon Ball Z Kai, I hope they like squish some of this stuff together, man. You know what I mean? Condense it a little bit.
It really got bad in I mean it got bad when they went to the New World, really. When all the arcs got really, me start noticing the arcs are 200 episodes now instead of 80 episodes, right?
Which just like in the Don Flamenco arc, I can't remember the city name, but like all that shit happened in one day.
Yeah, right. And it's them like running across the field for 30 episodes, right? And it's just, it ruins it for me when like I lose interest after a while because like, okay, they're still running up this, and it's like not the first time they've done that. It happens multiple times. Oh, now they're trying to get to Kaido on this fucking mountain.
Oh, Luffy's now trying to get to Ace in Marineford. He's gonna run across this battlefield for 50 episodes, and it's cool. And there's a lot of hype fights and whatnot. But the pacing for Egghead arc has just been great, and the new art style changes. I love it. I love how it looks. It looks so unique on its own as well. Can't wait for more.
Definitely seeing more of that fight budget ever since Gear 5, huh?
Because they literally cannot. If they every time Gear 5 comes out, it has to be a spectacle. Because if it isn't anymore, people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" Right? Because the first time it was revealed, and that's the whole point of the power, is that it's bonkers as shit, and you can't just do like a flat punch image that doesn't have much animation, right? Like I can't imagine seeing Gear 5 and having the animation of the YouTuber show we were looking at, right?
Oh yeah.
Some of those fights look like that, right? Like the older fights or the lower budget fights in One Piece. But I don't think I could stand to see Gear 5 not look incredible. So every time it comes out, dude, they just crank the money dial. Just like, let's go.
You know those punches hurt, man, when you see them.
Yeah, and there's been I saw like a tweet of like that the average episode cost has gone up ever since Year 5. They've been spending more on One Piece ever since that shit happened. Ever since, I mean, really, like the last half of Wano and the last half of Wano, right? Where there will be these big set piece moments and where they like animate, like the Zoro fight, the Sanji fight.
Oh
and all
yeah.
that, right? Like there's been a lot of these crazy moments. Oh, dude, the fight on the tower with it when it's like all of them and when they initially get up there, like yeah, there just hasn't been when it's like a climactic fight and it's actually putting the time into it. They're all really well animated now, and there's very few that it's just like the bullshit running around where they like don't animate it much, right? Where they're just like running through from place to place, screaming or getting into hijinks. They just animate that less. But yeah, Egghead arc good. Want more? Can't wait. This show is coming to a close fast, dude. There are lines being said in the manga right now that are just like, what the fucking fuck? Like revealing decade-long secrets, dude, and so exciting. And I became a fan last year. Like, this is so cool to see. Can't wait for all this to wrap up.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to pick up the manga once the hiatus hits. Because there ain't no way I'm going to be able to wait that long to see what happens next, man.
I mean, whose flashback arc do you think we're getting? Obviously.
Shanksy Shanks. Aw.
Who's really relevant in Egghead arc right now?
Oh, Kuma.
Yeah, dude.
Kuma. The Mad King.
Oh, man. Fuck, dude. Can't wait. That shit's going to be like a season on its own, that flashback arc. Because it's long in the manga.
Oh, damn. For sure. I can't wait to see it. Yeah. Cannot wait. But okay. I guess it's going to wrap it up. I don't think there's anything else to talk about.
No. Yeah, we'll watch more of Go Loser Ranger. We'll be back with a new one of those on Random Drop soon. And yeah, just keep watching. I'll watch My Hero maybe. I don't know. But it's like a good season. There's like solid, not a lot of mind blowing things, but a lot of like super solid stuff. I would definitely say. And Konosuba's God tier.
God tier. But all right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for the video. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, a comment. This is definitely a new kind of format that I'm doing, so any kind of feedback is much appreciated. And remember to check out Adrian's stuff over at Random Drop. What's your next review that you're going to do, Adrian? I mean, maybe the timing of this release is a little off, but let us know what you're working on right now.
At this moment, I have nothing.
Okay.
I did a review on V Rising. I am working on a Dragon Age summary video, so I'll be playing that. My hope is that we and you get to play Crow Country, and I do a small video on that. It's not a very big game, but I would very much like to do a review on it. So I would definitely like to play with that with you as well. It's a game I think you would like. It's like then if we end up liking that, having a good time because it is shorter. I mean, you could play Signalis together too.
Hell yeah!
It's very much one of those games as well. And I've been meaning to look at Signalis as well. So, yeah, we'll see. But, I mean, tune into your Twitch and see what kind of shenanigans we get up to.
Yep, that's right. Come hang out with us over at my Twitch at twitch.tv/BeastoVtuber. Join the Discord and talk to us about anime and stuff. Again, like a comment. Subscribe here. Subscribe to the VOD channel. Go like and follow us on our socials. And I think that wraps it up. We'll see you on the next one.